Just heard from the UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres there, of course, mentioning first thing the strike that's happened in Qatar and has condemned it. Are we surprised? Is that enough?
Of course not. I mean, this is why Israel feels emboldened. It's because of statements like this that keep coming again and again and again, where people don't draw a line and don't stand by the law. I mean, he's trying to promote a report that the UN has just launched about militarization and spending on military, and somehow waves the issue within this. It's nothing to do. This is fundamental infringement on state sovereignty. This is the building block of the United Nations. First thing he should have said, this is totally unacceptable. I condemn it with, to come in and just try to bring it out within a press conference is totally unacceptable. This is why Israel gets away with it all the time. And I suspect the American president will come out and do something similar. Now it is up to the Arab states to stand their ground. These missiles, for them to reach Qatar, have already crossed the sovereignty of a number of Arab states. There is a defense agreement, joint defense agreement for the Gulf states that should really now be enacted upon. They should take this extremely seriously.
Well, you mentioned the Arab states because we actually have had the diplomatic advisor to the UAE president talk about this attack. He's released a statement saying the security of the Arab Gulf states is indivisible, and we stand heart and soul with the Sicily state of Qatar, condemning the treacherous Israeli attack that targeted it and affirming our full solidarity with it in confronting this aggression. May God preserve Qatar, its leadership and people. May God preserve the Arab Gulf states. So another condemnation from an Arab country. We're yet to hear from the rest of the GCC, and of course, including other countries like Egypt, which neighbours the Gaza Strip. But Palestinians certainly they feel very much let down by the international community, arguably even by regional leaders.
I think it's important to keep the larger contexts in mind. These Arab countries, like the UAE, for example, can condemn all they want. But we know, for example, that just recently a military plane went from the UAE with weapons to Israel. So I think actions speak differently. And now we've seen over the last hour or so that the Israeli Prime Minister's office is trying to absolve the United States. But we all know, for example, that Central Command is based here. America's biggest military base is here. How could the United States not know?
Exactly.
So, as Sultan mentioned, this attack was carried out with full complicity and knowledge of the Americans, and the implicit understanding of probably several Arab countries. Jordan intercepts Iranian missiles, but apparently Jordan didn't do anything. And so what we have is duplicity and hypocrisy that goes beyond Donald Trump. And it actually, we see it in our own neighborhood, in the United Arab Emirates, from Qatar's other supposed friends.
And it's important to mention that UAE, as well as Morocco, for example, have normalized relations with Israel. And that's exactly what Donald Trump has been pushing for, certainly in his first term. And that's what, the conclusion from what Israel is saying is that it wants to be able to have relations with the rest of the region. But it's hard to see how, when it carries out attacks like this.
Well, I think this only pushes this idea of normalization, for example, with Saudi Arabia even further into the distant future. And so it'll be interesting to see how the Saudis react and how some of the other members of the GCC and countries like Jordan, as you mentioned, Egypt. But statements are one thing, and even if they're watered down by what Guterres just said. But I think we need to see concrete action. Obviously, Netanyahu is unhinged. Obviously, he's out of control. And he's being empowered by Donald Trump. He's being empowered by the United States. And unless and until the international community does something tangible about it, I think we'll see more of these sorts of attacks.
Yes, of course. I will come back to the both of you. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Sultan Barakat and Mehran Kamrava. Don't go away, obviously. It's a breaking news story and a lot